Good afternoon and welcome everyone to the Uncensored live Q&A session. My name is Danny and I will give you the webinar today. So the first part will be just reviewing the questions that we received, which are these questions, and we'll try our best to answer them. And the second segment, the second slide is really the true purpose of this webinar. This is a live Q&A. This is a live questions and answers webinar. You guys can feel free to ask whatever you want along the webinar, and hopefully I can give you the answer today on the screen. Okay, this unique concept was born to give you guys, like I said, the opportunity to ask the questions and see the answers on the screen, and I will paste them right down here. The third part is really sharing with you some links to save you the trouble to find them on the websites, although there are certain ways to get to those links from this interface, but it's good to have the links as well, so I'm going to share it with you. The last slide we're having here is just to help us emphasize analysis. Nothing is complicated, really just to find the approach and just to understand it a bit better. Okay, so any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only and should not be construed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. Furthermore, I would like to ensure you guys that the webinar is recorded. I know it's very popular that people are asking if it's possible to get a recording of the webinar, so you guys can watch it in your own pace, in your own time, and not right here live, which sometimes explanations insufficient, and you want to just watch it and by yourself. So the way to do it is go to our YouTube channel, just look for AvaTrade, and in our channel you can find a lot of content. The recorded webinars are there, and all other kinds of content, which I highly recommend you guys to check out. Okay, and the first question is it possible to trade with $100? All right. And it's also advisable to have some notepad for the notes. Okay. So first, I would like to ask you guys, I want to know your opinion. Is it possible to trade with $100? What do you think? Is it possible? Is it not possible? And in the meantime, let's prepare a few options to analyze. Maybe for this comparison, we would like to have gold as an example. Guys, what do you think? Is it possible to trade with $100? I don't see any response. You can use the question section to respond to my question. Is it possible to trade with $100? What do you think? It's possible, but it's difficult. All right, thank you, Phil. Who else thinks that it's possible, but it's difficult? And who thinks that it's not possible? All right, so we will find out first how $100 can help us open a trade. If it's possible to trade gold as an example, and then we'll have another instrument and another instrument, and we'll see if it's possible to trade with $100. Okay. So to understand if it's possible or not, I just opened gold as an example. We're going to write the name of our instrument, gold. And underneath, we're going to write the price for gold that we have right now, which is 2,711. This is the price per unit. Okay, we have another response. It's possible, but the gain will be minute. All right. So far the response that I got from the audience is that it's possible, but it's not easy, right? It's not easy. But first, let's see if it's possible. I just open up gold. Perhaps we'll make another comparison, and we will see if it's possible or not. So this is the price for gold per unit. This is how much 1 ounce costs at the moment, and we minimize the lot size for 0.01 for the sake of the example, which is the minimal lot size that we can take on the platform. Okay, so just 0.01, which is equivalent to 1 unit, right? And we can immediately see that the value here is reflected as much as our price. So the value stays the same, and the value is similar to our price. Oh, I see that the price has changed. Maybe we'll fix it quickly, even though there is a possibility it will go back to where it was. Never mind. And as we can see, there is also something here called leverage. Leverage is 1 to 20, and it's basically giving us higher ability, okay, with our current balance. That means that I have an ability as if I had 20 times more for gold to open a position. With this in mind, I can simply divide the value by the leverage, and then I have the necessary amount. Okay, if I'll go to here to instrument details, and I'll scroll down, and we see that the margin here is 5, and this is in percentage. So this is 5% out of what? 5% out of the value. Why? Because the leverage is 1 to 20. And I can always divide my leverage by 100 to know what will be my margin requirement. Of course, I'm just teaching you guys this to know. It's not imperative if you're using the web trader, because it's done here automatically, but still it's good to know. So we are multiplied thanks to the leverage. Therefore, we can just divide a value by the leverage, and then we know what we need. And in our case, what we need is only 135. Which is a result of the value divided by leverage. So unfortunately, the minimum margin that I need to trade gold is 135, and with $100, I won't be able to do that. Now, let's take another example. Maybe let's take oil as an example. Okay, and we'll see if it's possible to trade with $100. And again, we're going to take it down to 0.01, and we see that it is possible to take a position with oil. 0.01. Okay, so crude oil price per unit is 70 per barrel. Okay, we wonder how come it's not on the right hand side. There we go. Okay, and then we also have the value, which is 10 times more, because the lot size for oil is 1,000 and not 100, similarly to gold. So as you can see, one lot equals 1,000 barrels. And if I'll go to gold, and in gold, I'll also place one lot, you will see that it's 100 units. So whatever value I have with oil, if I'm with 0.01, will have to be multiplied by 10, right? Which is, again, the minimum size of position we can take. All right. And we can see that immediately it reflects here, and we can simply write down 0.01 equals 10 units, and therefore the value simply multiplied by 10. We also have leverage, which is 1 to 10. And as I've explained, whatever leverage I have, if I will divide 100 by that leverage, I know my margin requirement. Okay, I could as well divide a value by the leverage, and then I get the margin impact, which again makes pure sense to be as same as our price. Yeah, because we are multiplied by 10, because 0.01 is 10 units, and we divided the value by 10, which brings us to the same point, right? This would have been 2 as an example, so this would have been double, and it would still be 10% out of the value, okay, which is twice than our price per unit. Again, if you're using the web trader, you don't need to do these calculations. I'm just showing you, showing it for you guys to know. All right, so margin impact is also 70.4, which is our buy price and not the sell price. All right, so this shows us that it is possible to take a position with oil with a minimum position size, and let's see what can be the possible profit or loss. Just as an example, let's increase the take profit maybe just $1 higher than the current price, and we'll make a sell, so we need to decrease. Okay, and then we see, because we have 10 barrels, and we are looking for $1 movement, so this is approximately from here to here. Okay, just doesn't let us land the price. There we go. And then we'll also increase, oh, just a second. We would like to focus on the chart. We'll make it bigger. Okay, let's try again one last time. Perhaps I should just select it from here, and that will be easier. Okay. And all right, with this position, we can make $10. The conclusion from this is, just like the audience replied, it is possible to trade with $100. I'm just showing you here a live example with oil as an example, but we saw that with gold we couldn't take the position. Of course, if I'll take even a more valuable instrument like an index or something like that, I might even it might be even more problematic. Let's just quickly here, I don't want to delay about this question too much, but just to show you guys. Okay, so for instance, if I would like to trade Nasdaq with $100, I'm not even close. I'll need 10 times more. I'll need 1,000 to open the bare minimum position, right? So the answer to this question is, it's possible to trade the minimum position. Maybe with currencies you can trade even more than the minimum, but again, it's possible to trade with $100. However, we will be limited with our choices. Which makes more difficult to construct. Okay, well, it's more difficult to do risk money management. Okay, I really don't want to delay about this question too much, but as you guys understand, if I have less capital and I have less ability to open positions and sustain multiple positions, it's obviously more difficult to diverse, and so on and so on. There are many other things into this, but we are not, the question here is if it's possible, not if it's recommended to trade. Of course, if you're asking my recommendation if to trade with $100 or not, if you're just testing things out, maybe $100 can do the job. To make progress with $100, as the audience mentioned, it's very, very difficult, but as well, it's possible. So we know that it's possible. All right, let's just paste this question, paste the answer here. Okay, and we can carry on to the other one. How can I automate my strategy? Okay, so there are a few ways to automate this strategy. I think that this if this question is specifically to automate my existing strategy, so this can be done with designing an expert advisor, but we're not going to teach, I'm not going to teach you here now today how to make, there is another question here. Could you please explain on the fundamental analysis today? Okay. All right, this is a very, very interesting question here. If I can just get this thing here to open. Just a second, I'm very sorry, guys. Okay, so unfortunately, Sin, I think that this is a bit more, it's a bit too complex for the concept of this webinar, because we have the other questions to answer as well. But if I'll have spare time and we can dedicate the rest of the webinar to answer this question, I'm happy to do it. But this is a very, very good question. Very, very interesting one. Okay. So there are a few ways to automate a strategy. Of course, if I would just want to trade automatically, we have other solutions for that. So we have AvaSocial, DupliTrade for some accounts, and other solutions like that. But if I would like to automate my personally designed strategy, I can do it through an expert advisor. Of course, you need background in programming, or you need to find someone who can do that for you, and then you can determine certain conditions for if the market moves one way, then your expert advisor will do something accordingly. But again, we're not going to teach you to. I'm not going to teach you how to design an EA in this webinar. Of course, it's much more complex, and there is really no need doing that. Okay. There's another question here. Is the offered margin automatic, or I can select? Also, is it possible? This is very, very difficult to read the question in this interface. So I would rather just, if I can just copy that, it will be amazing. Very sorry, guys. I hope that it works. Let's try that. Oh, there we go. We made it. Okay. Let's maybe do this so we can see it clearly. Is it offered? Or I can select. Also, is it possible to set any stop loss? Okay. So this is two different questions that we have here. Yeah. Okay. We'll get to that. It's not a problem. I just want to finish with the question we already have, and then we'll get to that. Okay, it's possible. Yeah. Yeah. So as I was saying, to automate a strategy, you can design an EA, expert advisor, based on your strategy, and just embed that into a system that will execute things automatically. From my experience, to design an EA, you need a certain level of understanding about the market. If you're doing it as a beginner, it can be very, very challenging. Yeah, I don't really want to, again, it's not the purpose of this webinar designing an EA, so there is no point getting too deep into that. But I can just right here, perhaps, you can design a system. You can design an automatic trading system based on your strategy. Yeah, using, okay. I'm not going any further than that for this question. Okay, and let's just move on for now. Okay, what is the best way to improve analysis? Well, there are a few ways. But I think this question comes up every now and then. I think that to improve any skills in our lives, the best way to do it is to practice. There's no better way than to practice. Of course, we can watch the tutorials in here. As you can see to the left-hand side, we have here almost all the way to the bottom, the education section, which can take you to the academy, which can take you to the open here, the tutorials. And then we can see all kinds of videos, right? And in here, I'm sure there are things here about analysis, right? But at the end of the day, and there are webinars as well, but at the end of the day, as I said, and I will always keep saying that, practice. Practice makes perfect. Practice is the best way to improve any trading skills. I can see 1,000 webinars. It's exactly as like going to the gym. I can see articles about fitness and all kinds of workouts, and I can get the best equipment and whatnot. At the end of the day, I'll have to, how this thing goes, no gain, no pain, right? So it's simply going into the market, see different variations, setting a screen, watching the screen, trying different indicators. This question is too general because, again, I can improve technical analysis by looking at the indicators, learning different things, such as placing levels on the chart, support and resistance, certain indicators that I prefer, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about the just keep moving and trying and experimenting. That's what I think. Okay, so the best way to improve analysis is basically using all the resources that we're giving you guys. There's also here the news section. There is also the economic calendar. There are many ways, and they are, endless sources for analysis. Okay, so there is really no best way. I'm not a big fan of those questions, right? But okay, so the best way, there is no one way. There is no one way to improve. We can always improve analysis via webinars, videos, and articles, and really just to practice. And it's endless. It's endless. The analysis part it's a whole universe, but it depends what you're focusing. That also depends on the strategy you're using. This analysis is divided to many small segments. Okay. Is it recommended to use AvaProtect in every trade? Okay, let's first understand what AvaProtect is. So we're going to paste the question here, and we'll quickly just bring it back like that. Okay, is it recommended? So first we have to pick something that is compatible with AvaProtect, because AvaProtect usually appears here, but it's only working for Forex, gold, and silver. Okay, and if I'll take as an example what we had gold, right? And if I'll go buy or sell, we have here the AvaProtect icon here, and at the top we have the golden shield. I can either click here on the box or on the golden shield, which does the same thing, and then I actually activate the product. And the way that this product works is, just a second, we'll write it down. AvaProtect allows you to protect the position for a certain time frame. Okay, whatever you lost during that coverage will be returned. Okay, and there is a fee when using the product. All right, so this 3 simple rules to help us understand how AvaProtect is working. And we also understood that AvaProtect is working for Forex gold and silver. Let's take it to the bare minimum just for a comparison. And the time duration that I can choose give it another comparison with our take profit and stop loss. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is you can use AvaProtect in every position, in every trade, but as you can see, there is a fee here that I must remember. And before I'm opening a position, I would like to make a comparison between our fee, what I'm about to pay, to the possible profit and loss. And then, if for instance, let's take a round number. Just again, we're really making a comparison here. So there is no need to go crazy, as we are just learning how to use the product. Okay, 2688. All right, and because I've increased the take profit $20 from the price, since this is a buy scenario, so my value, I want it to be higher than the current value. And the stop loss supposed to stop the position automatically with a loss. So take profit close the position automatically with a profit, stop loss automatically close the position with a loss. And I've increased the take profit $20 higher, and I decreased the stop loss $20 lower. And because I have 1 ounce multiplied 20 gives us 20 profits or loss. Now, the reason that I said we should make comparison is because if I'm looking at 1 hour, I need to pay $7. This is at the end of the position, not in the beginning. And it will also be separated from the possible profit or loss. It's not going to be a partial amount, and then I'll have to figure it out myself. It will be separated and clear to see. If I'll go to the history, okay, and then I will review my trades, I will see separatedly profit, and then the fee or price, and then the fee. And as I wrote here in the beginning, whatever I lost during that coverage, I will get back. However, if my fee is $7, that's fine. Okay, $7, I'm making 20, I can lose 20, makes sense to use the product. But if I increase, as you can see, the fee increases as well. 3 hours, now it costs a little more. 6 hours, now even more. 1 day, now even more. And 2 days, which is the max for gold at the moment, is almost as much as I'm about to pay, is almost as much as I'm about to make or lose. So the point here using the product in this comparison is not great, When I'm using the product exactly as I have explained in the description, I'm gonna get back the losses. So I'd rather lose as much as I can during my coverage so I can fulfill the purpose of this product. Or God forbid, if I would even go for something like that, again, I just exaggerate to show you guys, right? In this scenario, even if the take profit triggers, I'm gonna make half of the fee that I'm paying. So this is doesn't make any sense, right? So this comparison can help me use the product properly, and this way I can customize the fee. I can compare the fee to my profit and loss, and I can better design the position so it would make sense. Okay, another factor that affects the price of the fee is not just the time length. Okay, let's bring it back to the minimum. Okay, so we were with 1 hour to $7, but if I'll increase the lot size as well, it will have an impact on the fee. So let's see. Let's just maybe use the plus here. So this is 1 ounce at 7, 2 ounces 14, 3 21, 28, 35, and if I'll increase it to 10, we see that it's 10 times than 10 times than the beginning, and of course one lot will be 700. Okay, so the time length and our lot size are both what determines the price for the fee. And like I said, I will always want to make this comparison to avoid a situation when I'm using the product, but I'm actually protecting myself with a higher cost than what I can gain or lose, which makes the service futile in this scenario, right? But in this scenario, as an example, it's quite great. It's quite great. I'm paying $7. If I lost this 22, 23 almost, I'm getting it back with only $7. And if I'll make 21 and I'm paying 7, I am left with a net of 14. Not bad, not bad. Not the greatest, but also not bad. Okay, so you guys can customize this to fit to your needs. Keep in mind what I said about increasing the time length or increasing the lot size, right? Okay, this is something to understand. All right. Let's answer the question. AvaProtect is useful for Forex, gold, and silver. There is no limitation. There is no limitation for how many positions we can protect, and actually I think I'm going to be more specific because the question is if it's recommended. So if it's recommended, so the reason that I wrote this is because we can't use it in every trade. We can't, unless we're trading only Forex, gold, and silver, and then we can. But if we trade something else, of course, AvaProtect cannot be applied on every instrument, therefore it can't be applied on every trade. Now, how can I explain what I've explained to you guys on the chart? Okay, basically we can trade, but if it's recommended, I can't say. It is recommended. Okay, sorry. it is recommended to make the comparison that I showed you now. That's what I can recommend. I can't recommend to use AvaProtect in every trade. It is recommended to make comparison between the fee to the possible profit or loss before taking the position to ensure using the product efficiently. Okay, we'll have this and we'll paste it in our presentation. Oh, okay. All right, great, perfect. So now let's have a look at the questions that we received from the audience. Okay, there. Is the offered margin automatic or I can select? Okay, so the margin, as I have explained, the margin is based on the leverage given on a specific instrument, and as I have explained, we can divide the value by the leverage to find the margin impact. Okay, as I showed on the platform, and the leverage is not something that we can change. The leverage is given to the account type based on the regulations. Okay, and this is not something that we change. The second question we have here is it possible to set any stop loss and take profit points that I want? The algorithm seems to force limits based on my entry point. Correct. Who asked me this question? Let's see. Hola BC. Hola BC. All right. So Mr. Hola BC, you are correct. I want to show you now why this limitation exists. But let's have the question pasted in our notepad like this. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's find out why this limitation on the minimum points for take profit and stop loss. So for instance, let's enable this. Okay, so for instance, I wish to take a position at 27, maybe, let's say 2,710. Let's make it flat. And then we can quickly set, okay, there we go. Okay, why is it not letting us set the just a second, let's actually disable this. Okay, so currently if I'm buying at 2709.93, as you can see, the take profit that I have marked is 2710. Why is it not letting me place this trade? Why? Because there is a spread that I must comply to regardless to the profit or loss that I'm going to make. And with this in mind, the platform is not going to let you intentionally lose. Okay, we cannot let intentionally open the position so close to the entry. Okay, of course, when you set the take profit, when you enable the take profit, let's enable it, it offers you the minimum length that the platforms allows you to choose. Okay, and if you choose less than that, as you can see, like it was a moment ago, okay, and now it's enabled. But if it will go a little higher, we will begin with a minus. So this is not something that we can do. Okay, I hope that it makes sense. So you can choose a length that is reasonable, and we don't want the position to be closed automatically with a loss. There is no point. What's the point opening a position that will be immediately triggered by the stop loss with a loss? There's no point, right? Mr. Ola BC, I hope that it makes sense. Okay, I hope that you're watching the answer. So we don't want the trade to be closed automatically with a loss. And this is why, like I said, there is this little limitation. Okay. So there is really no need for me to actually let's write down. Let's just understand the logic. The platform is not allowing to set take profit or stop loss to close, so the position will not be closed immediately with a loss. Okay, that's the reason. And with the spread, as we've understood, this what can happen. Okay, yeah, I think we concluded the question here on the top. We also concluded the question here we received from the audience. If anyone else would like to share with me any other question, we still have another 10 minutes to the end of the webinar, so you are welcome to ask whatever is on your mind. There is a question from Vera. What do you recommend to trade nowadays? Vera, you know very well that I'm not supposed to recommend anything specific to trade. We're not here to recommend anything specific for you to trade. There are many interesting things, many big changes across the markets. And there is nothing specific that I can recommend you on, but you can have inspiration from our lovely Buzz Market section here under this globy icon. And if you go to Market Buzz, you can find in a moment all those nice bubbles, which can give you inspiration of what to find that is worth mentioning. Each of those bubbles contains a number of mentions on different subjects. So for instance, if I'm going to go with Facebook, okay, there are different topics here which are divided to articles. And if I don't want to go through the whole article, generally through the articles, I want to specifically look at the divided guidance set. Okay, so the dividend guidance set here is showing us that those articles are what was mentioned in. So I can go into the article and I can, well, get more information about it. This is in terms of analysis, but like I said, it's not about what I would recommend you, Vera, what to trade or not to trade. I think that to find the instrument you want to trade, you need to do some research. You need to read a little about it. You need to see the charts. It's also important to analyze roughly the tendency of the instrument and the levels that it's going through, and see if it's interesting for you or not. That's what I would do. Of course, you don't have to do it like I did. You can just maybe select maybe from here randomly, and it would be fine without any research. You can also go to the signal section and just have a signal. But I think that the inevitable way is just to slowly do some research and to contact your account manager. I think that this is actually the best solution that I can give you, Vera. Contact your senior account manager. Senior account manager can assist you with all this process, to find which instrument you should trade, and not specifically to recommend, but maybe to review the market with you. Senior account manager is exactly can help you exactly with that. And I can give you guys, okay, I'll do that in a minute. First, if we are done with the questions, I would like to send you some links here. Like I said, for you guys to have it, maybe in the later stage, you want to. There is a question here from Ian. We offer classes for new traders. Yeah, of course, Ian. We're having on Wednesday the beginners webinar, and there we're having a guide through about the platform, just a little bit here, this facility, and we're explaining how to access certain things and also the basics in trading. So you can register to the webinar for beginners, and it can be helpful for you. All right. I'm pasting these links on the chat, right? I hope that you guys can see that. Also, let's paste this. This is also for additional, maybe more formal questions that you may have. So this is the help center. The following one is a real account for if you're still playing with the demo and you really want to, like I said, to practice. All these questions about what's the best way to improve analysis and all of that. It's really practice, right? Also, I've pasted here the academy, but we saw that we can access it from here in 5 seconds, right? And in here we have the tutorials, which we saw. Okay. And the last thing that I'm going to give you guys today is the Q&A benefit for joining the webinar. And this, guys, is going to give you a one-on-one premium market review with your senior account manager. Okay, which to my opinion is even more valuable than the webinar we're doing today, because you can specifically ask your senior account manager to assist you with the numbers, to jot down a plan, and specifically improve your progress, just like taking a personal coach in the in the gym, rather than to generally work out. So I think it's very helpful. We're gonna paste it for you guys in the chat. You can paste it, you can keep it and give it to your senior account manager to enjoy a one-on-one premium market review. All right, guys, we have another 5 minutes before we're saying goodbye for today. Is there anything else that you would like to share with me today? Any other questions regarding anything that we said so far? Any questions before we say goodbye, guys? Excellent, excellent. So I hope that everybody learned at least Okay, there is a question here from San, but this is a question you can ask maybe a prophecy, San. I can never know this kind of things. We're still having very fluctuative times. Think that from what I saw this morning, China approved another stimulus. We're having very fluctuative times. It's difficult to know these things now. We have to wait. We have to wait for the market to stabilize. And as well as I said in the beginning of the webinar, I can't give you precise information. Nobody can know that. We have to wait and do analysis. Unfortunately, that's the nature of this game. Nobody can know for certain. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure giving you the webinar today. You're welcome to join us for the next one next week. Until then, I wish you all fruitful week. Best of luck with trading and have a good day.